Yeah, I wanna take my horse to the old town road. I wanna ride till I can't no more. I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road. I wanna ride till I can't no more. I got the horses in the back, horse tack is attached, hat is matted black, got the boots that's black.
Oh, Jesus. It is hot today. Fucking Satan's anus over here. Shit. It is summer indeed. Before I get into this, let me just go look for some shade real quick because this is not even funny. I'm not gonna go too far. Let's just go find some shade right now.
A few moments later.
There we go. Much better. Oh, I was outside for 3 seconds. I need to change the fucking clothes already. Okay, so I usually have no idea where to start from whenever somebody asks me about my life, but today it's going to be a little different because I have here in my little notebook some points to cover, a little guide. It's a shitload of shit to talk about, but hopefully it gives a little flow and structure and order to this whole vlogumentary that I'm coming out with. For those that have just tuned in, if you have never watched a video of mine, welcome, and if you have been following me, then welcome back. Thank you for sticking around. I'm considering this my fresh start and the beginning of a new project, a 60-day project. It's going to be a 60 video project, and where I release a video every day, you know, different kinds of content, and music is still going to be the base of this whole channel. But yeah, I've just come up with this whole project, and I think 60, why 60? I think 60 is a good number. It's a serious number, and if I can get through with 60 videos, then I can pretty much do anything I want. I can pretty much fly. But yeah, so this is the beginning of that project. I still don't know what I'm going to call it. Project 60 Days. I don't know. But I thought I'd start off with this little vlogumentary about all the things that I've gone through to get to this moment right here. Every single experience, well, not every single experience, shit, we'd be here all fucking day if it was every single experience, but I've tried to narrow it down to important points to, you know, to cover. Credit's gonna be given where credit is due. I'm gonna try and thank as many people as I can during and at the end of this video. If I don't mention your name, don't feel bitter. I will get to it because there's just too much shit to talk. It's too much shit to talk about when it comes to my life. Too much shit. So for a person like me to just, you know, pick and choose, it's gonna be hard. But I'll try to do this in 30 minutes. Highly doubt it's gonna be 30 minutes, but I'm gonna try to do it in 30 minutes. But I don't even know how to start it. I'm just gonna start saying things, and if I happen to land upon a point, then I'll just go on to the order of how I'm supposed to talk about all the shit that I'm supposed to be talking about. But so yeah, it is currently the 2nd of July 2019. I'm back in Dubai. I've been here for the past, I'd say, 6 months. Beginning of summer. It is hot. God damn, it is hot. Yeah, I guess I can start with well, your boy was born on the 9th of October, the year 1989, to a German Egyptian father and a Filipina mother, and they met here in the UAE. I was born in Abu Dhabi, which is the capital of the United Arab Emirates, so I am by default racially ambiguous, fucking confused, right? Growing up was just really like weird, hella cultures, so it's hard to really pinpoint what my culture is, but I've always been sort of like attracted to the Western culture in terms of humor, open-mindedness, and just being able to express and having opinions. And I don't know, it's probably the books that I've read, the shit that I've seen on TV, the music, the different kinds of teachers and friends in my life. So all that put together, and you get this weird fucking 29-year-old, almost fucking 30, German, Egyptian, Filipino kid, bearded kid running around. But so yeah, I was born in Abu Dhabi. It was my first home before my parents made a move to Dubai, which is the main hub of the country, the most popular city. After that, we moved to Sharjah, which is another emirate or city, that not a lot of people are gonna know. Shout out to all my peeps from Sharjah. That shit was the bomb. Growing up there was just so memorable. But yeah, in general, growing up here was very interesting, and just very different, and a little hard to talk about if you really want to go into detail. If you're having a conversation with somebody that's not from here, that's never lived here, it's just hard to talk about because there are things that you are, you know, not allowed to talk about. If you know me, like if you're a good friend of mine, then you probably know how I truly feel about living here. There are things that I, you know, just can't talk about. You can't really be super critical of this country. Also, being born here does not mean you're from here. You are under your father's visa until a certain age, and you have to find a job, and unless you're female, and then you're under your father's visa all throughout until you get married or you get a job. So there's a lot of things that go into living over here, but I'm not talking about that. If ever something happens, if ever a situation comes up and I can't really talk about something, we'll just say hashtag you know what it is and you'll understand. But there's still beauty to living over here, to growing up over here, of course, and I'm going to talk about all of that. I'm not saying anything negative at all. I have to put that out there. Yeah, very interesting growing up over here. From what I can remember, from what I can gather, from all the footage that we saved of me as a child, as a baby, this is where I guess I can start with all the points. In almost every single video of me as a baby, I am running away from my parents. I'm just wandering off into the unknown, which I feel describes my personality very well today. And I am a wanderer, a gypsy, if you may. Yeah, it's funny because every single video of me as a baby, you just see me fucking running away. Like, where the fuck is Hadi going? And something that I can pretty much put my finger on is I did a lot of things at a very early age, like walking or swimming and talking. I was like 8 months when I started walking, which is, you know, just a couple months before babies usually start walking, I guess. My father threw me into the pool when I was 9 months. And, you know, I started kicking at a young age, and, you know, I was very talkative, even though I was gibberish, you know, but then I was just very loud and just very active, I guess. And like, and it's just funny to see again, you know, after so many years in these videos that we've saved. And it's just like, you watch yourself as a kid and then you realize, like, man, you know, some things really stick with you throughout your whole life. They just evolve into, you know, I don't know, more mature versions of themselves. I don't know. But super curious kid, always asking questions, always getting in trouble in school for asking questions. Like, seriously, I would get in trouble for just asking too many questions. And so I'm one of 3, and I have 2 beautiful sisters who are doing their own thing right now, but then that's probably another vlog. I'm gonna give them maybe an appreciation vlog for my sisters another time. But this is, of course, all about the bearded kid. Also, because of me being so all over the place, my parents decided to put me in front of a camera. And I did commercials as a kid, like photo shoots. And so I think that's when, and there's this video that I've been trying to dig up for the longest time, but I just can never find it. It's a video of me as a kid, as a baby, watching a Michael Jackson concert, and I'm wearing winter mitts. Because he's wearing gloves, of course, in the concert, and I was just like dancing. I'm like 5, I think, at that time. My sister's like 1 or 2. I don't even know the age gap anymore. I'm such a terrible brother. But then you could see me dancing, and then my mom's taking video, and you can hear my mom laughing in the background, which for me is my favorite sound in the world, hearing my mom laugh. And I think it's safe to say, like, right then and there was when everyone kind of realized I was going to be a clown, like an entertainer growing up. I think it was, yeah, you know, it was like, you know, there are types. There are types of babies, types of children. I was a loud and obnoxious type, and I was just, so I think that's a safe place to start in terms of I was going to be some kind of entertainer growing up. So I did that a lot of home movies as a child. You know, my friends, I was kind of just forced to be in the films. Just like really terrible homemade films. My sisters also, and I was just that kid. I was just very active, wanted to do things, trying to be funny all the time, trying to make everybody laugh. And my parents, I'm so blessed to have, first of all, I'm so blessed to grow up with 2 parents. I'm not throwing shade or anything. I'm just saying, you know, very lucky to have them both in my life because they're just both so different from each other, and the way they raised me, there was such a dynamic between the both of them because my dad was very, he was the super open-minded. If he falls, don't look at him, let him get up and learn on his own. And my mom, of course, was the caring, super overprotective. And I was the firstborn also. I was their first child. So I was like the experiment, basically. And they just, such a great job in raising me. And they both work so hard every single day. And as you grow older, of course, you see qualities in yourself that you get from your parents. And the whole me chasing my dream thing, definitely from my dad. He quit his corporate job to chase his dream of being the desert man, which is his nickname, and he loves nature and he's great with people. And you know, with my mom, I get the grit more from my mom, which is she got out of this situation in the Philippines and she built a better future for herself and her family. And you know, she's been the rock in so many situations. And I have strong parents, which is I'm blessed that I can say that at this age also. And so yeah, that's my parents and me in a nutshell as a kid. Fast forward to when I was a teenager, my circles kind of got bigger and I was more outside of my comfort zone, hanging out with older kids and just getting to know different kinds of people and seeing their perspectives on life and how their cultures kind of help raise them, and just seeing all the difference in the world. And so I was just so always curious, and I was just never happy with where I was. And at one point, I remember just wanting to drop out of school and for some reason go to the States and study acting. That was like my dream for the longest time. New York, to be more specific, because I loved New York growing up for some reason. Everything I watched, all the shows, all the music, and you know, all the pictures and wallpapers that I had, they were all New York City. And I don't know why I found myself so attracted to New York City. I remember at one point I decided, okay, I'm gonna drop out. I'm gonna just come up with a presentation and a plan I can tell my parents, because in our family there's no way you can just do shit without some sort of plan. And I remember my dad just really jumping on board quicker than I thought, because my dad really loves it when his kids just have these ideas and want to do things on their own and just explore and get out of their circles. And my mom, of course, was a little more hesitant because she didn't want the bird to leave. She didn't want her baby to leave the nest at such a young age. I was 15 when I decided this. And so yeah, after some took some convincing, but then they both kind of just like they were okay with it. And so yeah, I dropped out of school. This is when I was president of student council. I was captain of the varsity teams, I was this promising student that was gonna, graduate from high school and get into a good college and just do well for himself in life. And I just didn't like that. I didn't like that whole box, as any teenager would probably say or tell you. Like, I had my own things that I wanted to take care of. I had my own dreams that I wanted to chase. And so dropped out. And I remember my father saying that I had to look for a job in the meantime. This guy, he had this company that provided media agencies with food, equipment, and location. So there was always a set. I was like an offloader. Like, I would just take things on and off the truck. There was generators, there was food, there was like cool boxes and lights and all these equipment that I would help. And it was really interesting because I was always in a set, and sometimes there were 7-day shoots. So we would be in the desert, we'd camp like in the desert for like 7 days, or like we'd have to change locations and drive here and there. And it was crazy. And I was experiencing all this at 15 years old, and I was making money too, which was like, I just thought to myself, like, man, I could have just been doing shit like this a long time ago, just really going through life, which was something that I don't know, I put so much importance in going through things, and experiencing life at such a young age, which I feel was just I don't know, like, I really like pat myself on the back, like, good job, little Hadi, good job. All the stupid shit you've done, this is one thing that you've done right. So yeah, and so this was happening for a while. It was 2006. Two of my childhood friends, who were also half Filipino, they're half Egyptian, half Filipino. I consider them my brothers. I call them my brothers. They were living in the Philippines. We grew up here together, and then they would leave and study elsewhere because education is much cheaper, of course, in other places. Like they studied in Egypt, and then they came back. Then they were in the Philippines. So they visited from the Philippines, and we got together, and they were just like, "Hey, why don't you just come back to the Philippines with us, bro?" And I'm just like, you know what? I got some money. I got some time. Let's do it. So I tell my parents I'm gonna go on vacation, spend summer with the guys in the Philippines, and that's when the adventure pretty much began. That's when the life of the bearded kid sort of just, it was, conception. And it was just so different because, first of all, it was 3 teenagers. We're all like pretty much the same age. And we lived, and they were living in northern Philippines, town called Baguio, which is really cold, college town, very small city. Everybody kind of knows each other, like one main street that everyone goes to. And so it was just 3 of us in college town. It was really, I love the cold. It was really cold, and I was exposed to everything that I just was not exposed to over here, of course, which kind of just, like Abu's eyes from Aladdin when he goes into the Cave of Wonders and he sees all these, he sees all this gold, and it's just like, oh my God, wow. And I get so pulled into this reality that was just I could never find growing up over here. And it was just, I loved it so much, but also it was just really bad. I did a lot of stupid shit, but I wanted to stay. I wanted to stay there after experiencing all that with my brothers. I just wanted to stay, and their circle of friends became my circle of friends. I found out a way for me to just, I was staying with them for a little bit. Then I went to a school there, and sports was really big in my life at this point. I played a lot of sports growing up as a kid, but then at this point it was really, I don't know, it seemed like something that could be really serious in terms of getting me a scholarship to a school, or meeting people, joining organizations and tournaments, and just anything to put me out there was something that I really wanted to get myself involved with. So yeah, I stayed. I told my parents about it, and they were just like, "Are you sure? Like, damn, you keep changing your mind, all these plans," and which sucked because like I could see that I was sort of stressing them out in that sense, but I wanted to stay there, and so I stayed there, and I went to school there, and I eventually moved out of my brother's place, and I started looking for different places on my own, and education and living, and the cost of living there was way cheaper, so my parents could afford to actually pay for my school there, which wasn't wasn't that much. And it was just like I got to just experience life at such a young age and be an individual in that sense. So yeah, I lived there, and a lot happened in that 1 year that I moved over there. I was scouted in the mall to join this modeling competition, which I then won first runner-up in, which then landed me an interview on radio, which then landed me, like I remember I was doing an interview on radio, and people from the radio were like, "Hey, you have good radio personality, you want to work in radio?" I then got a job in radio, and I started working as a DJ, which then opened the doors for me to start hosting events. So I had a career in the Philippines I was like an MC at all these events that happened. So it was just like birthday parties, it was product launches, it was corporate, there was sports, there's all kinds of events that I hosted.
All right. Now when I say par, y'all say tay. Par, par. When I say hello, y'all say cello. Hello, hello, hello. Make some noise.
And then I made money, and it was just like, so all this happened in that year that I was there. And of course sports eventually moved us to the big city, to the main city, to the capital. We all moved to Manila, which is where my mom's family is from. I remember my older brother was being recruited, and so he was going back and forth. And I remember he came back to Baguio one time with a dude that he played with, who was a little older, who had started an organization in where he was coaching soccer and putting kids through like little workshops, like life workshops, and it was all soccer based. I remember we had gone back to the city with him to help host an event, and we stayed at his house, and he stayed in front of this high school, which looked really awesome. And I was like, man, if I come to Manila, I want to go to that high school. I ended up going to that high school. Shout out to all my Augustinians, CSA. Oh man, I love that high school, even though I did 4th year twice. I fucked around the first year and had to do it the second year, basically. But yeah, I ended up staying in Manila. I lived with my mom's family. It was a really small space, and I would commute for like a couple hours to go to school, and then be involved with all the activities there and sports, and then like commute back. And it was just this crazy lifestyle that I was living at 17 going 18. And You know, so I was doing this for a while, and my parents, after they kind of just like decided, like, okay, maybe he's really serious about staying over there, let's go to the Philippines and kind of like help him get settled. And so they came to the Philippines, and because, you know, staying with my mom's family was really tight, they thought that because I was going to be here for a longer time, they would invest in some property. They invested in like this little apartment in this little community, which my mom now actually rents out. So, you know, they really saw into the future, and it's another source of income for my mother, which is really cool. But it was this little apartment, the condo, and they invested in it, and so we started living there, which is a little far from school. And then my parents were just like, okay, your sister's gonna be with you also, you're gonna have to take care of your sister. This is my second sister. My baby sister was back here with them. Oh god, I'm all over the place, but I'm going according to this anyway. So in a nutshell, me and my sister end up going to the same school, and we're living there on our own. I'm taking care of her. She does her own thing, she takes care of herself also, but at a younger age, I was the older brother. It was cool, but then I remember the first year I was fucking around a lot, and I had my own spot, and I had managed also to get a car out of the situation. So imagine an 18-year-old high school senior with his own pad and a car. So I was really fucked up. I was really just, you know, not taking shit seriously and just having the time of my life. And the car was taken away eventually. It was repossessed by the bank because we couldn't pay for it. And so yeah, I had to do fourth year. I had to do senior year again. I graduated, and this is where sports comes into the picture. And because I played basketball and soccer, I was being scouted by these different schools. But at the same time, I still worked for that organization that my friend had started, and we were helping with coaching. And most of the sessions and like the clinics were held in Tondo, which is a place in Manila that is like, if you think back, like the Bronx in New York was like, you know, dangerous, and that's where crime was. You know, people say that, which is also true though. But Tondo was like, had that kind of reputation, and so we were exposed to like, you know, more poverty and just like street children and like gangsters and like drug dealers and like, but we were there helping, you know, the community, and so we were welcomed. And it was just something that was just, I say this all the time in my stories because it's really important in my life, and it was those years of working with that organization that really built me into the man that I am today. And just the conversations that I've had and the people that I've met, and just all the emotions that were, you know, that were had, the events and the tournaments, and just like, you know, everything was just so important in my life, and I appreciate them so much. And Peter, if you're watching this, Peter Amoris is the founder of Footcal, which is the name of the organization. If you're watching this, I love you, man, and thank you from the bottom of my heart. Me and my whole family thank you for just doing such a good job with your organization and with people like me as well. So great experience for me. But so yeah, you know, I did all that while I was in high school, and then sports came into the picture, and I got recruited to play for a university, and I played basketball, and I was like a big deal for like a whole few months. But I realized that the athlete life was definitely not for me. It was crazy. I was just a 6'2" point guard in the Philippines that had a few good games where there happened to be some scouts watching. But when it came to the actual life of the athlete, it was the practices and the two-a-days and the weights and your teammates, and oh god, it took away my love for the game, which was crazy. And I didn't really mesh well with the system, and it was just something that was just, I look back a lot, and I think if I just had stuck through it, I would have been, you know, somewhere in the athlete world today. But I'm glad I did what I did, because I just went through some more shit that this just given me more life. And so basketball was a phase, and then I went back to performing, of course. I started hosting events again, and I started involving myself with different kinds of like projects. And I remember singing for a friend of mine's 18th birthday party. In the Philippines, when you turn it, it's like a quinceañera. We call it a debut. So it's a pretty big thing, you know. The birthday celebrant sits on a chair, and there's dances and roses and candles, and it's a whole thing. It's a whole ordeal. And I remember singing at this birthday party, and my friend's mom, she happened to be like the theater director over at this place called Enchanted Kingdom, which is basically the Disneyland of the Philippines. And so they had this little entertainment center, the stage, and in summer they would have these plays, and you know, she asked me to be one of the leads for this play, and it was just, so I just basically just got back into performing. And as I was doing all this, I was making money also, and then I realized that 19 going 20, and I still don't have like a degree. And so my parents, that's all my parents want. Well, I mean, that's what they were, you know, willing to pay for, of course. And I was there initially to study and graduate. And so I looked for a school that had a decent program, a communications program with some theater also. And I went to the first thing that popped up in Google. I knew one person there, and I ended up going to the school. Shout out to all my Escalarians. CEU, very interesting also. And I had some great experience, and I met some wonderful people who are now like more family than friends to me. I love you all so much if you guys are watching this video. 4B, and just like all the people that I've met and events that I've hosted, all the things that happened that went down at that school, and all the teachers, and it was a great 4 years for me. And so I graduated, and this is where the bearded kid was like, yo, I gotta do something about my situation and actually go to New York City, which is what I wanted to do since I'm a little kid. And so, you know, I do a few more projects with my organization. I work a little more, and then I managed to just cop a ticket. And so I got a ticket to New York, and I have no idea what I'm gonna do, where I'm gonna stay. And it's just like, it's crazy because it was such an adrenaline rush, and I just loved it. And I just loved the idea of just not knowing what to do, but being in the city that I loved. And I remember I had met a friend through another friend who I adore so much. They're a couple. E7 and Jules, if you're watching, I love you guys. You guys are fucking amazing. But yeah, Jules, E7's boyfriend, had couch surfed in New York a year before I was planning on going, or I think it was a few months before. And he had told me about this couch surfing thing. If you don't know about couch surfing, look it up. It's the best thing in the world. If you're looking to travel on a budget, fucking couch surf. And so I ended up couch surfing where he couch surfed out in Brooklyn. And, you know, I land in New York, and it's just the best thing in the world. It's like, fuck, I'm in a movie. It's amazing. And it's just like, oh, the people and you know, just how busy everything is, and the yellow cabs, and the food, and the dollar slices, and you know, the people busking, and the trains, and oh god, the subway. Oh god, it was just amazing. And the people that I lived with for the first 3 months that I was there, just like a group of just like, it was a backyard, and everyone just had a character, and they were funny, and so I just learned so much, and it was, oh god, I loved it so much. And I involved myself with so many things, and I joined all these like little like organization, like this couch surfing organization, and like this bar hopping thing every week, and I just to get me kind of like acclimated to the whole fucking culture of New York. And I never felt more at home in my life. And so I stayed at this place that I couch surfed at for a whole 2 months. I asked if I could pay for rent. Third month I couldn't pay for rent, so I had to look for a job. So like every other struggling artist or, you know, person in America, I go on Craigslist and I look for a job. Get this job as a comedy club promoter, and I'm on the streets trying to sell comedy tickets. I'm one of those annoying guys, but I try to change it up a little. And I just like, it's amazing. It's an amazing experience. You're talking to everybody from New York, and you're trying to make money, and you're hustling, and you're really just like, oh, I loved that life so much. And I ended up, you know, making enough for rent. And I remember, well, I think one of my housemates helped me out a little. Rachel, if you're watching this, I love you so much, and I promise when the time comes, you will be rewarded tenfold. But yeah, it was just and I remember it was like, oh god, I really got to, okay, now I got to do something about what I want to do with my life in terms of like my passions. And I've always wanted to just go to the school that it's called the Conservatory for Dramatic Arts, where Miles Teller, one of the great actor, he studied at this school, and I was just convinced that I could go to the school and do something. And so I remember going to the school, walking in and asking about, you know, auditioning, and head of international students and director of the department, okay, and they set an audition for me, and I auditioned, and I fucking got into the school, and it wasn't even like a struggle, and they were just like, we like you, we think you're talented, come and study at the school, we'll give you a partial scholarship. And I'm just, at that point, I'm just like what the fuck, because like growing up here and in the Philippines, it's different, because just, you know, sense of humor wise and talent wise, what I want to do is not something that's of the norm, and I could never fit in over here or in the Philippines. And so over there, just hearing it from people from the industry, even though they're not really from the industry, but like somewhat involved, it just gave me so much, like, I was so happy. Like everything was like kind of set in stone, like, okay, like all my life, all the things that I've been wanting to do, like it's kind of just like, it's clear now that I have to do what I'm doing. I have to be an entertainer, I have to be an actor, a musician, or whatever, a writer. This is where I'm supposed to be at. But then of course, you know, performing arts schools in the States are just hella expensive, so I couldn't fucking go to that school. But just knowing that I got in, you know, I started going for different auditions, and you know, it was just like, it built my confidence also as a person and as a performer, and that's what I needed. So for my first trip to New York, that's what happened. And then comes the back and forth. I then go back and forth from here in the States for the next 4 years. So I leave the Philippines in 2014. I'm in New York for the first 3 months. And I come back, 2015, I'm back in New York for 6 months. Then I leave and I come back, I stay in LA for 6 months. I leave, I come back, LA again for 6 months. And it's just, I did a lot. I did LA 3 times, I think, actually. 6 months, 6 months, 6 months. That's what I did. And, you know, each time I go back, I different things. I live at different places. I go through different experiences. I work the most random jobs in the world. I was a freaking scary clown for like a haunted mansion, North White Plains in New York, Westchester, and you know, I worked for this scavenger hunt company. I was a coordinator for them, and like a game master. It sounds weird when you say it really fast. I also worked as like I was a waiter at this like Mediterranean restaurant, Lower East Side. Shout outs, you know, Chef Rafiq. He was my boss, and this was an amazing experience. And I worked for catering. I even catered at a movie premiere, and where I met Owen Wilson, Pierce Brosnan, Lake Bell. There's a picture of it somewhere online. I'm trying to put up right now. But all this shit, I went through all these experiences while I was just trying to find my way in the entertainment world and what I was trying to do. And towards the end of my second visit in New York, I remember this is very crucial turning point. I remember coming home one time and I was tagged on Facebook. There was this producer who had posted a beat, and he had quite a few followers, and he captioned it, "Tag someone who you think can kill this beat." And a friend of mine tagged me, and I used to do music for fun back then. I used to write raps and just like mess around and freestyle with my friends back in the day, but I never really took it so seriously. And so I was like, okay, let me write something. It was like 20 seconds. It was like a snippet of the beat.
20 seconds to murder this damn beat, please. I'ma be stomping all over like a stampede. G, golly, I wish I could keep going. I wish I could keep flowing. I wish I could keep throwing bones for the beast to play with, then tear apart. Not known, but at least my shit go pretty hard. Middle finger to the haters and their fingers as they linger over letters just to make up all the hatred that we read up in the comments. Man, fuck y'all.
Minutes after, this guy messages me. He goes like, yo, send this shit to my email along with your page. You're about to blow up. This is what he says. And I'm just like, what? What the hell? Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean a page? He's like, what's your page? And I don't have a page. He's like, well, make one. And I'm like, shit, okay. So I make a page and it has no content on it. And I sent this video to his email, and he posts it, and it fucking goes viral for like a full week, 2 weeks even, with like hella views and like so many comments, and people are like, who the fuck is this? Where can I find this kind of music? And I'm just like, what the fuck is it? All this shit happened overnight. Literally, that shit happened overnight. Success didn't happen overnight, but just like this epiphany happened overnight, which, you know. And I was like, damn, like, what the fuck? Like, maybe I should just do music. And that's when I was just like, you know what? Let me focus more on some music, because like everything's online. I can get shit out there. It's easier. I don't have to fucking worry about where I am in the world. And so I started focusing on music. I leave New York and I come back and I go to LA. Hold on. So I'm in LA and I start this project, and where I want to start my YouTube channel. And I was living with a friend who was like my best friend in high school that I had a falling out with somewhere around college, and then we kind of got back to being friends, and then I stayed with him, but then got a little toxic, and then I just had to leave. I remember I was homeless for a week in Los Angeles, but I was trying to figure that out.
Okay.
first night out on the streets. Yes, I'm planning on going back to North Hollywood right now. Just keep going back and forth from the gym and the coffee shop that's open 24 hours also. Finish all my stuff, get my page out there, and then from there, start looking for different opportunities for me to make some money in order for me to get out of the country or come back, you know, so. But for the next week, or for the next 10 days, until after my birthday, I'm going to be working on this. Might be on the streets, might be somewhere else. I don't really care. It doesn't really bother me as much. Just a little, you know. I am worried about where I'm going to shit and stuff. So you got to do what you got to do, man. If you have something, cliche, but you got to fight for it. All the people I look up to have been through the same similar situation. So I'm just, you know. Here I am at the 24-hour fitness gym in North Hollywood. So I'm thinking like a nighttime edit workout at around 3, so that by 5 or 6 the sun is up. Then I can do my shit outside, probably sleep like in a park or something. And I made it through my first night of being on the streets. Haven't slept. I'm gonna think of a spot where I could nap. Sent out like 20 couch surfing requests. Haven't heard anything back. See if I can nap on this bench without having any of my shit stolen. That's a crazy woman in the back. Just walking around saying weird shit. Yo, so I'm now counting this as day 2 of homeless nights. I'm in the studio again. In the corner. Shit. I napped a little in the jacuzzi. Being homeless in a 24-hour fitness isn't so bad. With the jacuzzi, sauna, steam room, basketball court, gym. Still editing. Man, it's so hard. It's kind of hard being homeless, man. Just got declined by like 5 more couch surfing hosts. But I'm alive, and I'm kicking, and I'm doing this for me. Day 3 of living on the streets. I make homeless look good, you know what I'm saying? Trying to keep positive. Day 4 or 5 of being on the streets. Found an interesting park. Just walking around North Hollywood. So I am going to sleep like a motherfucker. Alright! My good friends Ricardo and Amanda gave me a place to stay for tonight. So after this, go to the hostel, work there, sleep there, maybe make some more videos over there. I don't know. Let's see. Life's a roller coaster, you know what I'm saying? I don't even know what that means. Okay, I am now downtown LA. I'm walking towards the mansion. That's what it's called. That's the name of the hostel. So yeah, I'm on my way there. I think I'm gonna start working today. The person I was talking to was really nice also. So now I have a bed. I have a bed for a whole month, so that's awesome. Okay, so I'm here at the new hostel I'm staying at and working at also. This is where I'm gonna be staying for a month. My bunk. Lower bunk.
Out and I found this program called the Workaway program. If you're looking to travel again on a budget, workaway.org is amazing, where you work at a specific like a hostel or a farm. In my case it was a hostel, 5 days a week, 5 hours a day. You get 2 days off and you get food and a bed, which is fucking the greatest thing ever. So I was homeless for a week. I remember I was staying at the 24-hour fitness gym. I was sleeping upstairs in the aerobics room. You know, wake up in the morning really early, shower, do my workouts, go to 24-hour Denny's, get like a bottomless hot chocolate, work on my project. So I'm just like really into this thing that I'm doing, and I'm working on a project. I'm finally going somewhere, and you know, I finally get this project out. It doesn't get the numbers that I hoped it would make, but then I got this project out and I started this thing, and I'm finally like, okay, I can consider myself as someone that's trying to make it in this world of you know, entertainment. And you know, it was more of like me just feeling legit, and not just like some dude that says, oh, I'm an artist or I'm an actor, and like so many people like that fucking in Los Angeles. But yeah, so that was that, and so I had to leave after that. I had to leave, and then I go back again, and you know, there's some love stories here and there, but I'm gonna leave that out. I'll talk about it some other time. But then, so yeah, go back to LA, and I stay at the hostel again, and I meet some friends, I meet some music people, and I get involved, and I'm performing at clubs and bars, and it's like, okay, so I'm like moving up, and then like, okay, let me just start, you know, working on my craft a little more, my bars and my lyrics get better, and everything just gets better, and I learn, and I watch, and it's just, oh God, it was the best thing. Los Angeles was great also, even though I prefer New York more, only because, well, in Los Angeles, everything is like in pockets and like everything's far away from each other. You don't have a car, it gets a little harder. I don't know. I just find life in New York much funner. And I don't know, just more, I don't know, the grind in New York is different from the grind in LA, but there's definitely a grind in both cities. But anyways, so yeah, I do this again back and forth. And the last time I was in LA, I stayed with a high school friend, dear friend of mine. If you're watching, Amanda, the Rangel family, they housed me for like a few months, and I love you guys to bits. I don't know how you guys put up with me for a couple months, which was crazy. I think it was 3 months also. And this is when I started like really taking my music a little more seriously in terms of like writing really from here. All my life I would write and perform, you know, in ways other people would appreciate, and never for myself. Because people never really understood when I performed for myself, you know, because of where I grew up in, and you know, the culture, and you know, there's this, you know, people get lost in translation, and like the humor is different. And so yeah, so I finally just started like putting out songs. I remember I worked on this project last year, and where I put out a song every single day for 3 weeks, and I had like, and I joined some online competitions and some rap competitions, and I, you know, can somewhat say that I made a very small, not name for myself, but I made a presence felt online by people who were trying to do what I'm trying to do as well. People who are in the same grind. And so I felt that, and you know, I would receive recognition from different people here and there. Never consistent, of course, because you know, everyone's got their own shit. But then like every now and then, I'd be like, okay, shit, I'm on the right track. I just don't know what, how, when, and how long really it's gonna take for me to just, you know, for something to happen. And then you realize that it's just consistency and staying true to yourself and not letting the outside world fucking bother you, or any other outside noises for that matter, and just really just being consistent, which is why I came up with this 60-day project, to just keep me on my toes and just to help improve my chances of being seen, and hopefully maybe work with other people and collab, and you know, just open up more doors and opportunities. And so yeah, so last year was very interesting in that sense, in where I got to find out who I really was as an artist. And you know, I can never put my finger on what kind of genre, or if somebody asks me, hey, what do you do? I just do a lot, and the fact that I can just is enough reason for me to just do. And so that's that. I left and I came back, and I'm here again, and I was just for the past few months I was trying to figure out what exactly my next move was, because I'm not allowed to go back to the States until after a year. I was flagged in the system for staying there, because I always stay there for 6 months. I maximize my stay on a tourist visa and then I leave and I stay outside for a few months. So this time they were like, I was flagged, they're like, you can't do that. I'm like, okay, I get it. And so I was like, okay, so I got to stay out for a while. And I was thinking Europe for a year, but I had to save some money. And so a lot of things are going into consideration right now for myself in terms of what I want to do for the future. But I got a job. I worked at this escape room, overworked, underpaid. I love the people that I work with. If you guys are watching this, I miss you guys. You know, I was like, I can't do this because it took so much time, and it was just it was super hectic in terms of like, there's no way that I'm not being compensated for the things that I'm doing. I left that job, and I am currently, I don't know how I fell into this, plus size modeling. And so that's kind of like giving me some income, which is paying for my rent-a-car and my gym, and just keeping me basically afloat. But I have a place to stay. I sleep on my parents' couch whenever I'm here. And so yeah, that's pretty much, that's almost everything in a nutshell. I've left out a lot of stuff. Let me just read this. Let me just go through this real quick. Okay, yeah. So now my plan is, you know, since you guys are up to date, to work on this little 60-day video challenge / project. It's a project, it's not a challenge, because I can do it. And release a video every single day from here on out. And, you know, continue to grind, do whatever I can to just keep me afloat, find a way to get me out, market my videos, build a larger audience, which will hopefully then open doors and opportunities in order for me to somewhat get paid to do what I'm doing, and from there just keep building. So that is my plan. Now the types of content that are going to be coming out each day, I'll talk about it on the day itself. God damn it, this video is so fucking long. I'm going to try and chop it down to maybe 40 minutes. 40, 30 minutes. It's a long ass video. It's a fucking vlogumentary, so you can't blame me. If you've watched this whole video, if you watched the whole thing, fuck, congratulations. That's amazing. Also, thank you. Like, man, thank you so much. I've never talked so much about, well, I've talked a lot about myself, but I've never talked this much about all the shit that I've sort of gone through to get me to this point. And so many people that I want to thank, so many people in my life that have helped me so much. I promise to just really have you know that I appreciate you so much in my own way. And you know, I'm so focused on what I want to do, and it's crazy. I'm excited, and I'm taking this as a fresh start, and you know, you guys are going to be with me on my journey. It's going to be crazy. Imagine just 60 videos from now, what's going to happen, where I'm going to be, what my situation is going to be like, if I'm even going to move a little higher than where I am, if, you know, someone's going to take a chance on me. I never know. This is going to be the journey. So fucking stay tuned. I really think it's going to be a hell of a journey. I think it's going to be crazy. And I'm turning 30 this year, but I'm not bothered at all. I think everything is just kind of just starting. And there are big things in place. Not just for me, but for everyone that's fucking with the journey. So, yeah, man, thank God I got this video out the way, because this is actually the longest video of everything that's going to be coming out from here on out. And so this was like the hump that I really had to get over. And now that I've done this video, I just got to edit it, just make sure it's decent enough to watch, and it's not so long. It's fucking 50 minutes long, Jesus. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned. Tomorrow's gonna be a skit coming out. More videos after that. Let's get this shit.